Okay, we're given this graph. This is the graph of y equal f of x, and we want to use this to answer the following questions. These are open circles on each end, which means these endpoints are not included. The first question asks us to find domain. Domain is talking about all the x values that the graph uses. So how you do that is you look at the very left-hand portion of the graph, and you go all the way over to there, and we notice that the smallest x value that's being used is -2. Now -2 is going to have a parenthesis on it because we actually can't include -2, but that's as far left as that graph will go. It goes all the way over to here. The farthest to the right is going to be +2. When you write your domain, it's going to be -2 to +2. We're going to use interval notation to write our answers for these. -2 to +2, both of these have parentheses. This is not a coordinate, this is an interval. They're talking about the x values, so the graph is using x values between -2 and 2. Next, we're going to do range. The range, you look at the lowest y value and you're going to go to the highest y value. The lowest that the graph goes, there's no more graph that's beyond the y value of -1. So the lowest that goes is -1. It's going to go all the way up to +1. Which means that your range is going to be between -1 and +1. Now -1 and +1, again, these have to have parentheses also because each of these are open circles, which means the point's not actually included. So that's going to be your answer for the range. For intercepts, you have x-intercepts and you have y-intercepts. X-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. It crosses it at -1 and 1. I'm just going to list those and just put a comma in between. You don't need parentheses around it because you want a list of numbers. So -1 and +1 would be your answers there for the x-intercept. For the y-intercept, you're looking where it crosses the y-axis. It crosses the y-axis at 1. So therefore that's going to be your y-intercept. Y-intercept is +1. Next, it's asking us for if it has any kind of symmetry. So symmetry means that if we fold the graph over on top of itself and we have one part of the graph laying on top of the other, that means it does have that kind of symmetry. The only kind of symmetry that this is going to have is if we take this graph along the y-axis and we fold it over this way, that means that this part of the graph would lay on top of the other part and it would have that kind of symmetry. The fold line we used was the y-axis, so that means that it has y-axis symmetry. That's the only one it would have. I can't fold it this way, and I don't have the same thing in opposite quadrants either. So because of that, I'm going to say that the y-axis is the only kind of symmetry this one would have.